सत्पुरुष है तह हंसन विश्राम।
VYGOS is Vihangam Yoga Global Online Satsang, which is scheduled every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Indian Standard Time. Those who would miss to attend the morning session can listen to the broadcast replay on Sunday evening at 4:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. The aim of this forum is to give the entire world an opportunity to learn the ancient science of meditation and benefit from this pious service inspired by Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj, the pioneer of Vihangam Yoga. If you are interested in learning the technique or want to conduct a program at your place, and for any inquiry related to it, please feel free to write to us at info@vihangamyoga.org. That is info@vihangamyoga.org.
Jai Sadgurudev to all. A very warm welcome and greetings to every blessed soul listening to us across the globe at this time. Million thanks for joining us about this platform of VYGOS. Any spiritual gathering, even considering the journey of VYGOS platform itself till date, all the sessions have been including and concluding the importance, the presence and the guidance of a true spiritual master, of that of Sadguru in our lives for spiritual upliftment of oneself. Once again, thanks to all of you for joining us, taking time out of your busy schedules from busy materialistic lives. Today's topic, in today's discussion, we will have a straight look into these topics of who is a true Sadguru, who is qualified to guide us to self-realization and God realization. How can we serve and receive the guidance of such an exalted authority in the spiritual world? For questions so many and for answers to many more, we have lined up the session for you today. To start with the musical prayers of Swagat Gan, Mangal Gan, the prayers for peace and prosperity, which will be later followed by the recitation of Swarved verses. Then we will have a melodious bhajan coming up, which will be later followed up by an extended session conversating several aspects on the topic today. And all this with the presence of our global panel today. Let me have the privilege of introducing them to you. We are privileged to be joined by Khushbuji, a company secretary at a power firm in India with almost a decade in VY. She is also an instructor in NCR Noida area, Delhi, India. We will be joined by Sankalpji, an ardent practitioner of Vihangam Yoga with a very melodious voice, joining us for bhajan today from Bangalore, India. And then we are again privileged to be joined by Raghavendraji, our prime speaker of the day, associate director at a consulting firm in India, a devoted practitioner of VY, and joining us from Delhi, India. I am Anurag Dev, your host of the day, joining from Bangalore. Welcome everybody. I welcome all of you to this global platform. And before we dive into the session, let me put forward a humble reminder that questions from the seekers across the globe can be posted live at slido.com/VYGOS or the WhatsApp numbers currently flashing underneath the screens now, and can also be, and these questions will directly be taken by us during the extended conversation session for the topic today. So let us start the session with the prayer to the lotus feet of Sadgurudev to bless the occasion with the presence of its divine energy. We will do the same with Swagat Gan. Swagat Gan will be followed in succession by Mangal Gan, prayer for world's peace and prosperity. prayer to eliminate differences in society. These are prayers written by His Holiness Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj, founder of Vihangam Yoga organization. Prayers are dedicated to the lotus feet of Eternal Master for the establishment of a spiritual kingdom. Let's fold our hands and listen to these musical renderings.
आज स्वागत नित्य गुरुवर संत शुभागम आइए, अध्यात्म विद्या दिव्य ज्योति सोमरस बरसाइए। दोष दुर्गुण दूर करके शुद्ध हंस बनाइए, भेद गम गति ज्ञान गर्जन शक्ति द्वार हटाइए। खुले द्वारा शब्द सागर भक्त जन अनहवाइए, जन सदा फल विश्व शिक्षक शान आन बचाइए, शान आन बचाइए। विश्व शांति नाम मंगल परम गुरु को ध्याइए, वर्ग द्वंद्व शांति दूर कर भाव भेद मिटाइए। सार्वभौम समष्टि सत्ता आत्मराज बनाइए, वेश भाषा भाव जगमय ज्ञान पर दर्शाइए। समृद्धि सुख शांति धरातल स्वर्ग भूमि बनाइए, विश्व शिक्षक जन सदा फल नीतीश्वर अपनाइए, नीतीश्वर अपनाइए।
With these musical prayers, we start our session. We invited the divine energy to bless the occasion with its direct and indirect presence. The spiritual journey has never been easy for anybody till date, in any age, in any era. And it was the same. It was nothing different for our Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj, who took to 17 years of rigorous meditation practice to understand and to bring back the light of Brahma Vidya. Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj recorded his own spiritual experiences in simple and comprehensive language in a book that is now the encyclopedia of spirituality, known as the Swarved, the prime treatise among his 35 spiritual texts. This is not a book created out of intellectual exercise or is a derivation from some other book. Taking no reference from any other scripture, it is the first-hand divine knowledge, divine experience written in a state of oneness with the Supreme Lord itself, the very source and origin of all knowledge. It unveils the deepest spiritual secrets and is an exceptional synchronization of experience and expression. Let us listen to some relevant compositions from this encyclopedia of spirituality. I hand over the control to Khushbuji to take us towards the recitation of Swarved.
Jai Sadgurudev, thank you for giving me this opportunity. It's an honor to be part of the session today. Here are select verses from the Swarved, the Encyclopedia of Spiritual Secrets, authored by Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj. माया लोक छुड़ाय कर चेतन लोक निवास। सद्गुरु ताको जानिए, भक्ति मुक्ति तेहि पास। The one who with his conscious devotion detaches us from the worldly desires and takes us to the path of the conscious zone and liberates our soul from worldly bondages is the true Sadguru. मोह नाश कर ज्ञान से जड़ तजी चेतन दे, ताप क्षीण सुख शांति है जीव आपन कर ले। Sadguru Dev, with his divine knowledge, destroys all the attachments and worldly desires and shows the path of consciousness. He destroys the triagonies, physical, spiritual, and materialistic, and blesses us with peace and happiness. सद्गुरु ऋणी जगत है, उऋण कभी नहीं होय। तीन लोक की संपदा, एक वचन नहीं होय। This world is indebted to the Sadguru. The debt can never be repaid. The entire wealth of the three worlds cannot equal even one word from the Sadguru. योग सिद्ध कलि अल्प में, जो पूरा गुरु होय। अधिकारी गुरु भक्त है, यह प्रत्यक्ष है सोय। When the Guru's abilities are complete in all respects and the devotee is worthy, the yoga, that is the union with the universal consciousness, is accomplished in very little time in Kali Yuga. This is evident from the author's own experience. The author has hinted in this couplet about having already accomplished the highest spiritual goal in his life. गुरु आज्ञा पालन करे, अज्ञा सेवा जान। मन वच काया कर्मणा, सद्गुरु भक्त अमान। Devotees of the Sadguru Dev, who have surpassed the limitations of the mind, follow the order of the Sadguru with their body, mind, speech, and actions. Following the order of Sadguru is nothing but seva, a service to the Sadguru. Jai Sadguru Dev.
Thank you very much, Khushbuji, for the wonderful recitation of these relevant Swarved verses. As Khushbuji mentioned, started in beginning with the doha from Swarved, with the verse from Swarved. Maya lok chodaye kar, chetan lok nivas, Sadguru tako janiye, bhakti mukti jahi paas. The one who liberates our soul from worldly bondages, the liberator of souls, is the Sadguru. This session is going to be more and more interesting as we dive deep into this topic of who is a true Sadguru and what all he is capable of, and how we, simple souls in this creation, can earn that benevolent guidance, that blessings to realize the ultimate reality. Meanwhile, let's move towards listening to a soulful bhajan graced with the melodious voice of Sankalpji from Bangalore today. I hand over the control to Sankalpji for taking us to the bhajan.
Jai Sadgurudev to all of you. Thank you, Anurag Dev ji. It's my privilege to have the opportunity to sing a bhajan in front of you all in this forum. Today's bhajan is about a true Sadguru. This bhajan says how and when a true Sadguru comes in our life and what happens when a true Sadguru comes in our life. How does our life get transformed? And how does a person achieve the ultimate aim of his life under under the holy guidance of a true Sadguru. Let's listen each and every words of this bhajan taken from Shabd Prakash, written by His Holiness Sadguru Sadafal Dev Ji Bhagwan. बोलिए सदगुरुदेव की जय। जन्म अनेक पर सदगुरु मिल प्यारी, संचित पुण्य जब होए जी। जन्म अनेक पर सदगुरु मिल प्यारी, संचित पुण्य जब होए जी। संशय भ्रम बहु जन्म मिटाय हो, दीन विमल उपदेश जी। संशय भ्रम बहु जन्म मिटाय हो, दीन विमल उपदेश जी। पिंड ब्रह्मांड गति भेद दुर्लभ मति, निर्मल प्रेम तत्व सार जी। जन्म अनेक पर सदगुरु मिल प्यारी, संचित पुण्य जब होए जी। योग सुरति शब्द निरति गगन रत, दर्शन पुरुष पुराण जी। योग सुरति शब्द निरति गगन रत, दर्शन पुरुष पुराण जी। जन्म अनेक पर सदगुरु मिल प्यारी, संचित पुण्य जब होए जी। बूंद अमी झरे ज्योति जग मग बरे, वह सुख वर निन जाए जी। बूंद अमी झरे ज्योति जग मग बरे, वह सुख वर निन जाए जी। जन्म अनेक पर सदगुरु मिल प्यारी, संचित पुण्य जब होए जी। पहुँचत हंसा कोई जानत दृश्य सोई, जग जीव फिरत भुलाना जी। पहुँचत हंसा कोई जानत दृश्य सोई, जग जीव फिरत भुलाना जी। जन्म अनेक पर सदगुरु मिल प्यारी, संचित पुण्य जब होय जी। प्रभु से मिलन भैले आवागमन गैले, चेतन चेतन विलास जी। प्रभु से मिलन भैले आवागमन गैले, चेतन चेतन विलास जी। जन्म अनेक पर सदगुरु मिल प्यारी, संचित पुण्य जब होय जी। स्वामी सदा फल धन्य सोई बिरहिन, स्वामी सदा फल धन्य सोई बिरहिन, नित्य चल घर पाए जी। जन्म अनेक पर सद्गुरु मिल प्यारी, संचित पुण्य जब होए जी। संचित पुण्य जब होए जी। बोलिए सद्गुरुदेव की जय। ओवर टू यू अनुराग देव जी।
Much and million thanks to you, Sankalp ji, for the presentation of this melodious bhajan. We talk of self-realization. We talk of God realization. And here is Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj, who says, before all that, it is the presence of Sadguru needed in your life. Janam anek पर सदगुरु मिले प्यारी, संचित पुण्य जब होए जी. After many incarnations, birth, repeated vicious cycle of birth and death, and a result of collective influence of infinite, uncountable pious deeds, it is then when a person, a deserving soul, is blessed with the presence of Sadguru in life. Indirectly, this version emphasizes that, of course, self-realization and God realization are not possible without Sadguru, but even becoming eligible enough to have the presence of Sadguru in physical life is not something so easy at hand. What is it so magical about Sadguru? What is it so captivating about his personality, his presence in the physical life, that without the presence of this energy, any attempt in spirituality is not successful, does not lead us to any kind of progress. We will elaborate now more on this as we dive into our next segment. Let me have the privilege of inviting our prime speaker of the day, Raghavendra ji from Delhi, India, for the extended discussion on topic today with me. Raghavendra ji, as I introduced, is an associate director at a consulting firm in India, a devoted practitioner of Vihangam Yoga meditation, and a very vibrant speaker. As I always introduce him, we have had the privilege of listening to him on this platform before too. So I welcome you, Raghavendra ji. I hope my voice is audible to you as of currently.
Thank you, Anurag Devji. Am I audible?
Yes, you are very much audible. Welcome, Raghavendra ji. It's going to be an interesting session with you. Are you okay? Are you all right now?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And to share with you, it is my privilege and my honor that I am on this platform. So thank you so much for having me here. And I look forward to the discussions and deliberations today.
Yes, I understand. And this platform has so many times graced with your presence. Today, the topic is so interesting. Basically, today we are dealing with the core of all the topics that we discuss. The importance of Sadguru, the importance of the true spiritual master. Before I get into the main segment, let me thank all the seekers across the globe. I can see some questions coming out live on slider.com, VYGUS. And keep posting, because it is ultimately once your queries are, satisfied, then you can be doubtless and proceed forward in your journey. So Raghavendra ji, so basically let's start the session about discussing about the topic itself. I mean, taking the topic of who is a true Sadguru. So we have several questions related to it, but let's have a little elaboration on this very definition of who is a true Sadguru, who can be a true Sadguru, Raghavendraji.
Anurag Devji. So the word Sadguru, it's in its broader sense, and when we refer to the Sadguru, we understand that we're talking about an assembly or a joining of two different words. So we're referring to really the Sad, which is a version of Satya. It's just a variant of Satya, which means the truth. And the Guru is the guide. So the Sadguru, when you join these two words, is the true Guru or the true guide. Therefore, this means that while we may have many gurus, many teachers who have taught us, for example, our parents are our first teachers, then we have the school teachers, we have other family members who've taught us, and we respect them all. But the Sadguru is in a completely different league altogether, because the Sadguru is going to teach us the truth. He's not only going to teach us the truth, so the Sadguru articulates the truth, he also shows you, and he also, by virtue of his conscious and divine powers, he is empowered to pull that soul, that deserving soul, who, as per his direction, works towards his goal. He's able to pull it towards the truth and towards liberation. So the difference here is like not of addition, subtraction, multiplication. It's on a logarithmic or exponential scale, and even beyond. Because the difference between the conscious zone and the worldly zone is way, way, way too immense for me to even quantify. Therefore, the Sadguru is being the Guru of the truth, or the true Guru, is at an exalted place. He is worshipped by not just everyone on planet Earth, not just human beings, but he is worshipped by divine beings. He is truly the first and foremost among all divinities that can take you from your base material world towards self-realization first, towards realization then of who the Sadguru truly is, and finally towards God realization and towards complete removal of the bondage of these worldly shackles. So that is my understanding of the word Sadguru, Anurag Devji. What do you think about this?
Yes, I agree with you, Raghavendraji. Basically, what I perceive this word as, a torchbearer for the humanity. So he is the one who is guiding you from the first to the second to the third and to all the stages, which involves, of course, self-realization and God realization. And when I talk about these terms, I really see how often, how frequently, how easily, with what kind of easy, notion these words are so much frequently used in the spiritual world today. Self-realization, God realization. And there seems to be a wave of people who claim to be a Sadguru. In fact, if you take the physical world today, you can find Sadguru everywhere else. This actually brings me to a very, very important thought. And the thought is, if I am surrounded by so many claims of being Sadguru, and I'm one soul which is so much, incapable of, even visioning beyond a limited parameter with my eyes, and this kind of spiritual energy, this kind of, spiritual personality, how can I even visualize, or how can I distinguish in this crowd? This was one of the questions which I used to have when I started this journey. Though it is a matter of experience, but yet I would like to understand how you reflect upon this.
Well, you raised a very important point here, Anurag Devji. The fact that the word Sadguru is now being used so liberally is a matter of both interest and concern to me, because once it's very difficult for us to recognize who the true Sadguru is. That's because, for example, let us look at our expertise. Supposing we have to go and buy even an ornament, you and I will be very well unable to discern the quality and the exact quantity of the gold, how authentic it is. We'll
Yes,
have to
yes.
go to some place to authenticate it and validate even the purity of the water. The kind of water that we drink, we need a specific instrument. The person comes, he measures it, and then he shows us the difference that okay, this is absolutely drinkable and potable water. So for us to verify, can you imagine how would we verify, quantify, qualify who a true Sadguru is a matter of immense difficulty and debate. But what I would think over here is, if you're really looking at so many different Sadgurus, we understand that a position of such authority, of such complete authority, can only be given to one entity in the existence of the universe at that particular time. So while there of course have been Sadgurus before, at a given moment of time on the planet, there can be only one and one Sadguru. So that's because that is the amount of energy you can imagine, because the conscious world is being given a portal or an outlet, and that is such an amazing thing, because as human beings we have no connection with the conscious zone. Of course, the soul has emanated, is part of the conscious zone, but it is completely shackled over here, right? It's completely bound by the body. So none of us really are able to perceive that conscious zone. And the Sadguru, that is that link that we have, that direct link to God, and only He can take us there. Therefore, at one given moment, the garima, so to say, the greatness, the magnificence of the Sadguru is such that at any given moment of time, at any given era, there's only one and one Sadguru present, on earth to deliver humanity from its shackles. That's my feeling of, that's my understanding, that's my comprehension of the whole thing.
Yes, yes,
I know that you may not agree to it, but I was wondering what you think about this.
No, no, I definitely agree with it. And with my personal experience as a seeker in Vihangam Yoga for, I think, almost 7 to 8 years, an active seeker that I would like to emphasize, an active seeker, because we all claim to be, doing so many, pious deeds, so many religious deeds, and being an active seeker is extremely different from being a religious follower. So, as in my own personal experience, what I believe is, even though I myself have been, a victim of, not a victim, but I have been a searcher of, a true guru for a long time, and I believe that as a soul or as a human being, with my own abilities, I feel it is practically impossible for me to distinguish who the correct Sadguru is. Uh, Especially in the absence of a background of spiritual knowledge. It is impossible. Even if you have a knowledge, I think it is impossible to distinguish this is the correct Sadguru. In fact, I think it is vice versa. It is the Sadguru who chooses you when the time is right. So you are chosen by the Sadguru when your the search for the truth, your own aspiration, your own anxiety for that particular, for attaining that particular state is like, you cannot stay without it. And at that particular very moment, it is the grace of the, eternal Sadguru, it is the grace of the Lord Himself that, Sadguru chooses you to be a part of His grace, to be a receiver of His grace. I think in that perspective, do you agree with me? I mean, I'm not sure about the further opinion you have, but this is my personal opinion, Raghavendraji.
I fully agree with you, Anurag Devji. In fact, another important point that you brought up, you mentioned the eternal Sadguru, who is known as the Nitya Nadi Sadguru. So Nitya Nadi means from all, since the beginning of time, or since beyond time actually, if you'd say. So he's eternal. And no matter how many times the universe has been created and dissolved and created and dissolved again, He has remained unchanged, just like the Supreme Being. So He is one of those entities for whom dissolution and reformation of the systems of the universe and all have absolutely no impact. He doesn't change in any way because he is completely perfect in all respects. And the eternal Sadguru, like you said, I have gone through various scriptures, and one of the privileges that I've had was that in my childhood, I was very close to the Prime Minister of the Vihangam Yoga movement at that point of time, a very accomplished physician who was educated in the United Kingdom, Dr. R. Prasad ji, and he has written a wonderful book called yes, Introduction to Vihangam Yoga, where he refers to the various names that the eternal Sadguru has been known in different scriptures. So there is a reference of Sukrit Dev ji, there is a reference to Atri, there is a reference to Aj. In the Upanishads, you have the Amanav Purush, and in the Bible, you have the Holy Ghost. So there is always a reference to a Sadguru in various other religious texts also. Though having said that, I believe from my understanding of the scripture that I have gone through that the Sadguru is not bound to any religion, or there is no preference of the Sadguru for any religion or any culture or any language or any other, caste, creed, gender, anything. He's completely neutral. If I may call him a he, that is just my convention. It's the only word that I can use.
Sure. Yes, I understand.
So, having said that, the Nityanadi Sadguru, the eternal Sadguru, he chooses you, yes, absolutely, because the soul. I strongly believe that when we are searching with a burning desire, the survey talks about a burning desire for the soul to know about the truth, to understand about the Supreme Being. And when you burn in that desire, the Sadguru pulls you towards his grace. And sooner or later, you are given an opportunity to interact with someone who can then introduce you to a structured form of the movement that takes you to the Sadguru's blessings. Does that sound familiar to you, Anurag Devji?
Yes, Raghavendra. So just adding to this point, so now we are already discussing about Sadguru, and then we are also discussing about eternal Sadguru. So eternal Sadguru and Sadguru, as I perceive the concepts of Swarved, Swarved emphasizes on, I think, 4 categories of Sadguru. So of course, one of it is eternal Sadguru. And then there is Swayam Siddha Sadguru, the one who is, self-capable and is born as Sadguru himself. And then you have Abhyas Siddha Sadguru, the one who practices the meditation and becomes Sadguru. And then you have Parampara Sadguru, the one who carries the tradition, inheriting the powers and the capabilities of Sadguru for generations. So in this particular, I just like to understand a bit detail from you on these 4 categories, as how do you perceive the concepts of Vihangam Yoga on this categorization of Sadguru Dev?
Indeed. So this is a very succinct and a very precise categorization, because it takes into account. So we've already discussed the greatness, the existence of the eternal Sadguru, who appears, he takes human form, or he appears in a material way also, or he appears in the dream, or in a very vivid dream, or he appears within the soul's confines itself and can, convey his message, convey his instructions, and he can inspire beings towards, fulfilling the goals of starting work towards self-realization and God realization. So that is the eternal Sadguru. The Swayam Siddha Sadguru is the one who is already accomplished. So he is a liberated soul, and by his very birth, from his very birth, he gives, he exhibits divine powers. So that you get to know that he's got this siddhi by before this birth also, and just that he's taken birth, does not take away anything from that. He's just come into this material existence to deliver humanity, to take us from a lower plane of understanding towards a much higher plane of understanding of the ultimate truth. And then you have Abhyas Siddha Sadguru. At this point, I must, reflect and seek your opinion also. You see, when we say the Sadguru, we do not, these categorizations are basically just academic categorizations.
Yes, correctly. Yes, yes.
Yeah, because the Sadguru. Once he's the Sadguru, there is no, we could say, there's no further subcategorization, or that, he's a greater Sadguru or he's a lesser Sadguru.
Yes, yes, yes.
So,
So it is similar to, like, having, four glasses of water. Water is all same in all the four glasses. That's how I perceive it. So you can have a body form, but it is the same energy, neither less, neither more. I mean, everything same in all the four glasses. So same water in all of them. So even though we have a categorization for the understanding of this concept of Sadhguru, I fully agree with you that this is the same energy and there is no difference between each one of them. I mean, though you perceive. In fact, when we talk about the Parampara Sadhguru, which I believe was the next thing when you were describing the categories of Sadhguru, the Parampara Sadhguru also, when it continues for generations, there are 3, 4, 5, 6 Sadhguru Dev that is coming into picture. And then many times I have met the seekers, and I have met the people who sometimes confuse between this Sadhguru Dev was appointed first, so he is a bigger one, and then somebody came was appointed Sadhguru next to him, and then next to him. Many times I have seen this kind of doubts reigning in the mind of even the disciples of Sadhguru, wherein we consider, or where there is a slight amount of question on whether that was a bigger Sadhguru and this one is after him, in that direction. I hope you are understanding what I'm trying to bring out, Raghavendraji.
absolutely, absolutely. So you hit the nail on the head, because like you said that Parampara Sadhguru is the lineage of Sadhgurus. Certain people, they look on the Sadhguru as someone who, by virtue of being born itself, would have given these miraculous revelations, or revealed himself in such a way as being more than a normal mortal. But that is only just one categorization of the Sadhguru. The Sadhguru can be very human in his outwardly appearance, but if you are a true seeker, you would see that you will be drawn towards him. And there are various tests that have been given for the there are various kinds of seekers also. Just like we have got this categorization of the Sadgurus, of as immense a part of Sadgurus, we have multiple number of categorizations of seekers. So then there are the Christianity talks about the doubting Thomases, which means Thomas was one of the disciples of Jesus, who persistently he'd have doubts about his powers, about who he is, and whether he's true or not, that sort of thing. So you have the doubting Thomas kind of a seeker, a devotee who is devoted, but then he has this curiosity that, am I going on the right path? Is he the true Sadguru or not? And for those, I would think, and I would also seek your opinion on this, Anurag Devji, is that once we understand what is the purpose that we are really going in for, that that this is deliverance from our normal worldly existence into a higher level of realization of the soul, self-realization, that is, then we understand what the Sadguru is, because without understanding what we are, we will not be able to understand the Sadguru, let alone the Supreme Soul. Therefore, in this particular process, this hierarchy, this, just as we go from kindergarten to standard 10th, we go on to graduation, post-graduation. Yes, that graded journey, the Sadguru will be able to take you on, so long as we are obeying what he says. And the Sadguru has that confidence that he will give something called a Udghosh, a proclamation. It's like a guarantee. Yes, he will say that indeed there is God, and I shall take you to him. I shall show you him. Yes, and that guarantee is of Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj is such that if a person who does not know Vihangam Yoga, if he does Vihangam Yoga for even 6 months regularly, as prescribed, as per directions, and if he is not able to see the difference, he is most welcome to give it up completely. No expectations from him or from us. He is most welcome to give up. But in 6 months, I've seen amazing things happen to people. For me, I would say it took even longer because I did not go as per the directions. I was initiated when I was in around standard 8 or so, a long time ago, and in the late 1980s. So initially, I was just just like any other person entering his teens. I entered his teens, and frittering away my energies. But once I sat down in the direction given to me, then I could see that big quantum jump. So then the Sadguru's powers show you that those things that are talked about in various religious texts and also specifically in Swarved, those realizations are there, and they are there in such a tangible way that you cannot say that am I sure, not sure. No, because it is happening to you. Those sights, sounds, those amazing spiritual experiences that I would not maybe like to dwell on too much, because the more you talk about these, the more it gives rise to your own ego, and it creates a sort of a impression that then other people feel that they create these mental constructs of getting these spiritual experiences when they're not actually having them. So we don't discuss spiritual experiences in great detail, but we know that if we sit and we do the sadhana, we do the satsang, we do the seva and the swadhyay, then we definitely move on to these experiences which show that yes, indeed, that person there, that entity there, he is actually the Sadguru in human form.
So yes, correct. So I think it is more a matter of realization. So as you rightly spoke, understanding Sadhguru. Even I feel, even if you have been, at the highest peak of this spiritual journey, this the personality of Sadhguru or the Sadhguru itself is so infinite that it will not be possible with whatever greatness we achieve to completely understand Sadhguru. And as you rightly spoke, the realization or the experiences that Sadhguru proclaims in his proclamation that if you do it as prescribed, that I will take you to thee. As a personal experience, I think it varies from person to person. Uh, uh, the ability and the level of consciousness that it varies from person to person, and that decides the amount of time which we take in even achieving the first realization or the first experience. But yes, I agree with you. The hard-coded line of Sadhgurudev's proclamation, Adbhut Marg Yog Vihangam, Main Tumko Badlaunga. I will take you, I will tell you that secret, knowledge of Brahma Vidya, and I will take you. That's a guarantee, actually. I mean, I have not seen any scripture in the entire creation. I mean, as long as or as far as I have read or I have known several religious scriptures or Vedas, this a written guarantee that I exist and God exists and I have that way. I know the way and I'm capable of taking you to that and I will take you to that. The only thing needed, I mean, the uniqueness of Vihangam Yoga, I think that's where now we are heading towards. So there is something called as religion, so which have practices, and you practice it, and ultimately you are also told that it is the way you will achieve God. And then I find a word called spirituality, which is also more or less used in similar terms as religion interchangeably across the globe these days. I think we need to understand this bifurcation in a little more detail. Whether religion and spirituality is it the same thing? And then we can understand how unique and how free is the Vihangam Yoga meditation and Sadhguru himself from the bondages of religion. How would you agree to me with me, Raghavendraji?
I do indeed, Anurag Devji, and then so this is something that even I have experienced. But having had the privilege earlier of having introduced Vihangam Yoga to adherents of many religions. So while I was in Bombay, we had Subhashi and me. We had introduced Vihangam Yoga to many of our Muslim friends also were there. I've introduced this to friends in you know various other religions. So what we have understood from that is that once they sit down and do the meditation and they understand that this is completely in sync with what their religion also teaches them. Because no matter what you see, religion is, a codification of certain principles and, certain entities, certain ways of, approaching the ultimate truth. They've just been codified. But when you look into the code as not just words, but as what is the intent of the code, what is it really taking you towards, the higher purpose, what is the ultimate goal. So you can approach a destinations in various forms of transport. You can take an airplane, you can take a train, you can walk, you can take a cycle, right? But it doesn't matter so long as you're getting to the destination, you are actually fulfilling your goal. So spiritualism really is what Vihangam Yoga is really all about. Because Vihangam Yoga is not talking about giving a name to that supreme being. That supreme being can be can be called by you by any name whatsoever. And no matter what your religious belief be, the science of Vihangam Yoga is akin to normal physical sciences in the sense that it is a science like chemistry or physics which can be tested in your own laboratory, your own internal laboratory, that is the mind and that is the body to begin with. But as you move towards a higher plane and you get subtler, that laboratory, the physicality of the laboratory changes, but you're still able to gauge for yourself that yes, indeed, you have moved up, or if you moved up or not, and you can take further guidance on this journey upwards. So, having said that, it's like saying that, okay, if is religion true, is spirituality true, how do we find it out? Find it out for yourself. Look at the science of the whole thing and experience it for yourself. So it's only when you experience it that you will know for sure whether it is true or not. Having said that, I would then ask you, Anurag Devji, based on your experiences in India and abroad, what do you think? How do other people in other religions perceive of the Sadguru?
Yes, Raghavendra. So when it comes to religion, so people view. So as I told you earlier, also expressed earlier that no, these two words are used interchangeably, which is I won't say it is not 100% correct. It is correct to some extent. In fact, it is the correct one. However, the as for my experience in India and outside, the religion nowadays has been constrained to as you said, it is codified. The core knowledge of all the religions is codified. And one thing that I have found in all the prophets, whether it be Hinduism, Islam, Jainism, Buddhism, any religion you take, one thing that you don't need to decodify something to understand. One thing that is very common is all the prophets doing meditation. Nothing achieved, nothing propagated, nothing started without the very one basic thing that's called meditation. And you take, for example, Buddhism, or you take all the sages of Hinduism, or even Prophet Muhammad Sahib, anybody. The core of that has been meditation. So basically, I agree with you that the essence of even the religions being propagated, though it is being manipulated in one way or the other way by several preachers, but at the essence, all talk of the same God, all talk of the God realization, all talk of the self realization, and they all talk of a method to achieve it. And finally, they also present a concept of a guru or a prophet in their own way. So there could be different languages, vocabs used to express these terms as per the topographies, but I believe that yes, the core of spirituality is not different from the core of religion, though they are used interchangeably. And yes, it is a matter of experience. So once you have that initial level of experience, you ultimately realize that, my personal experience, you may differ it from is, I have often heard people saying these religions are nothing but different paths leading to the same God. I sometimes do not completely agree to that. In fact, when I see the core, it is the same path leading to the same God. Nothing has surpassed meditation, nothing has surpassed Guru. So all of them are teaching the same thing in some or the other way. Of course, vocab changes, topography changes, regions changes, methods of preaching changes. But ultimately, what it is being said is You have to go through the same channel. You have to pass through the same experiences. Uh, and you have to pass the same milestones, and those milestones don't differ in, whether I'm a Hindu or a Muslim or Jain or a Buddhist, anybody. So that's my personal experience. I'm not sure if you completely agree with me, but that's how I opinionate this particular topic, Raghavendraji.
I would indeed agree with you, because when we talk about, so when we are referring to the importance of experiences in gauging whether the guide is the Sadguru or not, we see that there is a commonality of experiences. So initially, when you have the experiences, they may vary, depending on the person, because the person has a different, you could say, a legacy of his own soul, his prarabdh, his own codes that he's coming from. So there may be some initial differences, but then they start to get sorted out towards the commonality of experiences. So you'll see about in every religion there is a revelation, or there is an experience of divine light, divine sounds. Yeah. So also when we see in Vihangam Yoga, you see all of these, and they are so very well structured that you can really find out that whether you're really progressing or not. So that I fully agree with you, Anurag Devji.
So because I have often heard, and there is also a question on Slido in the same direction, that Gita also teaches the same meditation. And can this meditation not be just practiced following Gita as a guru? Why we think that a physical Sadguru or Sadguru himself is required for the practice and the attainment of that knowledge. So I think this point we have been emphasizing in every session almost, that it is what differentiates. So it's the same technique. It is, if you take the first level of Vihangam Yoga meditation, the technique is directly or indirectly inscribed in almost all religious scriptures, and it is the presence of the Sadguru himself that makes this unique. Once I read Gita, I see Lord Krishna teaching Gita to Arjun, and Arjun, but Lord Krishna and Arjun has been together for years, and they have been friends. But the presence of Krishna, I would take an example to understand Gita as the presence of Krishna as a Sadguru, Lord Krishna as a Sadguru, to understand Gita is what is more important. So I think in this anomaly, the presence of Sadguru, you can read all the scriptures, you can read everything, but the presence of Sadguru itself, brings that practical aspect, the practical light on all the theories that we have. I would like to have some concluding remarks from you, Raghavendraji.
True. So when we read, I have also read this in the Bible, and it's that particular process that you're referring to, that secretive process that you're referring to, that is mentioned very explicitly in the Gita. There is also mention of it, in fact, in the Bible, and this is given in the book Introduction to Vihangam Yoga that I was referring to. So, but the problem is that if you're going from a jad, a base level, to a conscious zone, you need the power of the Sadguru, because this is akin to giving a kindergarten student a guide to how to do a PhD. But without the person who can take you through all these levels and then make you do your PhD, a kindergarten student cannot do it merely by looking at the book, which, though is talking about the truth, cannot really take you to that PhD level from kindergarten level. So that is my concluding remark on this, Anurag Devji.
Yes, I agree with you. So you need somebody, you need the presence of that somebody, that entity, that conscious entity in the spiritual kingdom is called as the Sadguru. So we still have many more questions and many interesting questions to take on this topic. However, I am limited with the constraints of time. So Raghavendraji, I would suggest let's continue exploring these topics in the forthcoming session. And I thank you for being a part of such an enlightening discussion. Thanks, Raghavendraji.
Thank you so much. It's an honor.
So thank you so much. So that was our extended Q&A session with Raghavendraji. And it clearly brought out several concepts about Sadguru, God realization, self-realization, the importance of Sadguru, how Sarved presents it in the context of the present world. Let's Move towards the concluding segment. Let's move towards the prayer of Shanti Path. And with that, we will conclude the segment today.
विराग त्याग की शांति हो, उदासीनता शांति, सेवा जित शिष्य शांति हो, सत्य शांति हो शांति। हे प्रभु शांति स्वरूप हो, शांति शांतिमय शांति, शांति शांति जन शांति हो, पूर्ण शांतिमय शांति। हे प्रभु शांति प्रदान कर, दूर हो सर्व अशांति, देव सदा फल शांति में, शांति शांति सुख शांति। हे प्रभु शांति प्रदान कर, दूर हो सर्व अशांति, देव सदा फल शांति में, शांति शांति सुख शांति।
Thank you to everybody for joining this session. Thanks to all the seekers and thanks to all the global speakers that joined us today. It has been an interesting session followed by several interesting questions from the seekers. We have tried to cover as much as possible within the limited frame of time, and I understand there are some very important and interesting questions left behind. Sure, we will try to cover them in the next session, and we will try to have an extended session on the same topic so that we can throw more light into this topic. Thanks again. Wish you a healthy and a prosperous life. Let's meet each other next weekend via the same medium. Until then, Jai Sadgurudev to all.